Hey there, today we're doing a review of this bag, the Evergoods CTB35. Here at Nomads Nation, we have been reviewing the world's best EDC and travel gear for the past 7 years. And in this video, I'm gonna show you everything that you need to know to decide if this is the bag for you. We'll show you exactly what fits in the bag, we're gonna double check its advertised capacity, and I'll give you my brutally honest pros and cons and overall scores, so you can know if this bag is worth the price. And you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because if you're not quite sold that this is the bag for you, I will make 2 alternative bag recommendations that might better suit your needs. Let's talk about the gist of the Evergoods CTB35. If you're unfamiliar with Evergoods, the brand, I gotta tell you, they're pretty good at making bags. They're definitely renowned as one of the best carry brands in the world. They're known for their signature crossover vibe, kind of that office bag meets outdoorsy bag. And I think this is the last backpack of theirs that is currently in stock that we have not reviewed. We've reviewed every Evergoods bag except for this one. Did we save the best for last? We're about to find out. Because this bag is pretty iconic, but it's not without its pros and cons. First, let's talk through some of the bag's top features. We have a quick access pocket in the front, 2 quick access pockets on the top, side laptop storage, a stowable and included hip belt, 2 external water bottle holders, and these are quite possibly the best water bottle pockets in the game. I'll explain why 2 chapters from now. And a big old main compartment that is accessible via clamshell opening. Now, Evergoods claims that this bag is 35 liters capacity, but here at Nomads Nation, we always double check these things. All right, we decked out the bag with our factory grade measurement balls. 2 things to note about capacity. 1, it's difficult to perfectly measure a bag's capacity. It's a soft goods, the pockets that are competing with each other. But this will get us a pretty good idea. But 2, Evergoods are wizards at creating additional capacity. Notice we have the main compartment fully packed out, but see in this back yoke pocket how there's so much extra capacity in here? That's gonna extend to all of these pockets and gonna be a recurring theme in this review. It's just like this black magic wizardry thing that Evergoods does better than most brands. Let's do a quick dimension check. We got a height of 20 inches, width of 12 inches, and a fully packed out depth of around 11 inches. All right, you can see we're at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, just over 30 liters capacity in the main compartment. Okay, for the top yoke pocket right here, we got about 1 liter of capacity. The other top quick access pocket, about 1 liter as well. And then for the side quick access compartment, about 2 liters. Which if all combined together, we are just at 35 liters on the dot, actually just slightly over. Plus you still got the water bottle pockets. So I'd say overall, the Evergoods CTB is an extremely comfortable 35 liters. Now, while I'm jazzed up about Evergoods capacity wizardry, I'm less stoked about the weight of this bag. It's advertised at 4 pounds. See, I'm getting almost 4.4 pounds on scale number 1 and 4.3 pounds on scale number 2. And I double checked, there's nothing else in this bag. Everything has been removed, so it seems to be around 10% heavier than advertised. As of recording, the CTB comes in a bunch of different color, size, and fabric options. It's a 20 liter, a 26 liter, and a 35 liter. You've got a wax canvas and an X-Pack, or if you stick to the original nylon, it currently comes in black or green. This is the CTB35 when it's empty, and here it is fully packed out and worn on the Nomads Nation team. All Evergoods products are protected by their lifetime warranty, and having been very engaged in this community and reading all the comments, I know that Evergoods actually does a stellar job of honoring that warranty. And for all that, the 35 liter nylon version of this bag runs around $365 USD. Now that price point is going to be our North Star moving forward. It's gonna give us context for the value of the bag and whether or not it's worth it. But just a quick heads up, if at any point during this review you think that this bag is worth it and you're thinking about making a purchase, we highly recommend doing so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes, but that link also helps to support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Let's talk about the front of the Evergoods CTB35. Starting with the aesthetic, this is Evergoods' signature crossover look. It's a vibe that I really dig. And I'm not really into the outdoorsy side of things, but just subjectively, I think Evergoods has really done a great job of creating a design language that is theirs. But I will admit, I don't think the CTB is their prettiest bag. It's kind of a little more Frankenstein-y to me versus the CPL. which I'll just go ahead and say I am a fanboy of the hardcorest of cores of the CPL, especially the 16 and the 24 too. I think that backpack is an absolute masterpiece and is so beautiful. But there are a few functional things that the CTB does better than the CPL, mainly water bottle pockets and side storage, but we'll talk about that in a minute. First, let's talk about fabric options. This is Evergoods 420D nylon. At this price point, they don't use a name brand like Codra or Cordura, which is mildly disappointing, but Evergoods knows what they're doing. The wizardry doesn't just stop at their capacity and volume. It extends to every part of bag making. They are experts through and through. This nylon looks smart, is gonna be very abrasion resistant, and have a bit of weather resistance as well. But although it's a lighter nylon, for instance, 420 is nowhere near as thick as like a 1680D that's commonly seen on airbags. So it's lighter compared to that, but this bag is heavy. I mean, we're almost 4.5 pounds for a 35 liter. This breaks our typical preferred ratio of 10 liters to around 1 pound. So at 35 liters and almost 4.5 pounds, that's not working. That math isn't mathing, but that doesn't bother everyone, but just like, it's something you definitely need to be aware of for this bag. And a big reason for the weight is just how over-constructed Evergoods bags are. A lot of padding, a lot of materials, a lot of fabric. So the good news is the bag's gonna be basically bomb-proof, but your back might not love it as much. Evergoods branding is right here, black on black, and it's a Velcro patch, so you can put your own patch over top if you like to decorate. And then for the front, we really got 2 pockets to discuss, both of which are quick access, but in their own way. The top pocket has no additional organization. It runs to about here, but it's got depth to it, dude. I mean, you saw the volume when we packed it out with our factory grade measurement balls and system. Almost 1 liter of space just in this pocket, and that was with the main compartment fully packed out. But the side pocket's a different story. I mean, obviously we still have this similar amount of volume, if required, but there's a bit of organization in here. We can see we have a zippered pocket, some sleeves, and both of these pockets are just gonna give you great access to your smaller bits of gear. So let's say you're going traveling, large pocket, you can throw your charger, headphones, med stuff. And in the quick access side pocket, good spot for your wallet, pens. This is a passport size notebook. And again, because of that extra volume, these pockets are versatile, so you can throw your over-the-ear headphones in there, or your sunglasses in the case, up here. These 2 pockets plus the yoke pocket that we'll talk about in the next chapter are some of the biggest selling points of the CTB. They're amazing. One last note about these pockets is that Evergoods is using YKK zippers. YKK is the best zipper brand in the world as far as I'm concerned. But the zippers are not PU coated, which for some people is a bit of a bummer because you like a little bit of extra weather resistance, which they definitely can provide extra weather resistance. In our testing, you can get up to 30% extra blockage from rain and water. And if that's important to you, then you should definitely look at Evergoods X-Pack version of this bag, which I believe has all PU coated zippers. But beware, other people like myself don't like PU coated zippers because they might peel and look like this over time. All right, moving on, let's talk about the middle of the Evergoods CTB 35. Now guys, I gotta tell you, I am very excited to talk about the water bottle holders, but the best way to showcase water bottle holders is when the main compartment is fully packed out, so we'll get to that in just a second. In the meantime, let's talk about something I'm not as thrilled about with Evergoods bags, the handles. And it's funny, I've reviewed so many EG bags over the years that I've grown to appreciate the handles and respect them. I really respect them. Like, it's their own thing. You can see here these handles are longer and they're flush with the bag and they're beautiful, but I think that there's some functional compromises that are happening here. Mainly to keep their nice shape, there's like a sheet of plastic in there, right? Underneath, and that plastic can be, not painful, but it's not comfortable when you're holding these particular handles when the bag is fully packed out. But also because of how flush they are, it looks really clean, right? They're just kind of difficult to grab sometimes. So a bit of a mixed review from me when it comes to the handles, but we got some external lash points on either side of the handles that you can clip things onto if you so please. Now let's get into the main compartment. You can see at the bottom of the main compartment, we have these little pull tabs right there, just give you a little extra leverage when you're opening the bag, which is nice because although these zippers are not PU coated, they're still very chunky. They're YKK number 10 reverse coil. So there's a little bit of stickiness to them. They're not lightning fast, or not as lightning fast as you think they would be. Now, I love the fact that this bag uses clamshell style opening because, it's a travel bag. It's the CTB, the Civic travel bag. And clamshell style opening for me is a non-negotiable when it comes to a travel bag. It's just so much easier to open your bag and to access everything because you're gonna be packing it out with packing cubes, maybe your Bluetooth keyboard in this back sleeve. I love this material, by the way. Evergoods material game is exceptional. So yeah, we got a DOP kit, tech pouch, packing cube, and this is good for a week's travels for someone like me. And that clamshell style opening just gives you that bird's eye view of all your stuff. When you get to your hotel or your Airbnb, it's so much easier to unpack, believe me, godsend. On the other side, we have a mesh pocket. This is Evergoods standard mesh, which I am not crazy about, but I do respect it as well. I typically prefer a mesh that has some stretch to it and elasticity. This mesh doesn't have that. It's kind of plasticky and hard, but I'll give it to Evergoods. On the flip side, that stretchy mesh can get very loose over time, versus this will always keep its shape and kind of makes the bag last a little bit longer because of it. And again, volume. Notice this, it's not like super tight, like my hand's not able to move around. Like there's space. Even throw another freaking packing cube in there, right? Plenty of room for activities, guys. One other thing that annoys me about Evergoods, and they do it on all their bags, it says designed and developed in Bozeman, Montana, and it's true, but that insinuates or makes people think that these bags are made in Montana, in the USA, and they're not, they're made in Vietnam. And Evergoods always buries the made in Vietnam tag, so I just feel like that's a little misleading, not my favorite thing that they do. And then we have this pocket at the top here, which again, for other companies, this would be like flat and flush and difficult to get into, but Evergoods always gives you the volume, which means that you can use this pocket for bulkier things like your hard drive case, a little bit of gum. Just incredible design across the board. Close it on up. It's when these zipper pullers at the bottom come really in handy, just giving you that extra leverage. And then boom, we are good to travel. Let's freaking go. But not yet, two more things to talk about. First of all, this top yoke pocket, which could be my favorite feature on any Evergoods bag because it's just so intelligently designed. Like it's just freaking brilliant. This is where you have the top pocket, but it's actually connected to the shoulder straps here. So what they did was just this beautiful design and then gives you all this extra playing room here, right? I mean, you want to talk about room for activities, guys. There's so much room for activities all over this bag. And again, it's a pocket that has its own volume. Big bulky umbrella. It's literally gonna fit in there, no problem, with room to spare. All right, and the last thing to discuss are the water bottle pockets, which also could be the best in the game. Few reasons why. One is just the design. Notice how the zipper kind of comes in a little bit at a curve, and this zipper is straight. And that just gives you this perfect foundation for this water bottle pocket. And Evergoods put the right materials on it. We've got this stretchy fabric, it feels great. And there's a little bit of depth at the bottom as well with these gussets. And you can see 24-ounce Columbia fits in there and it gets buried, right? In a good way though, like you don't want a tight fit. And you can see it's sitting in there pretty well. Like the pocket is bigger than the bottle itself and very secure. But the versatility is pretty impressive because the 1 liter Yeti, you can see, also getting it in there with plenty of room to spare. These things are just freaking amazing. But they're not just good for water bottles. Like I think you can get like a hoodie in one of these things. They're so freaking big. Yeah, I mean, look at this. I've never tried this before. But like, if you want to even like just throw a hoodie in there, I mean, like these things have got serious volume to them. A couple more tests. Self-standing. It's a pretty good self-standing bag. It's gonna depend on how it's packed out. I give it a 2.5 to 3 out of 5, somewhere in that range. And then for the carry-on compliance test, this is 18 by 14 by 8 inches, the typical carry-on size for US aircraft. You can see this bag's probably gonna be mostly a no-go. That's not gonna happen. So if you're looking for an Evergoods CTB version that is more carry-on compliant, I recommend going with the smaller 20-liter version instead, or the 26. Now real fast, I gotta tell you, before we jump into the next section, if you're enjoying this review, I wanna welcome you again to Nomads Nation, but also tell you that here at NN, we don't just do epic gear reviews on our YouTube channel, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. So if you wanna keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in this community, I'm talking the limited edition drops, newest releases, industry trends, and everything in between, you're gonna wanna sign up to the Nomads Nation newsletter. I'm so proud of the newsletter. We put so much time into it. It's really a one-of-a-kind resource, and you can sign up by finding this globe emoji in the description below. Hope to see you in your inbox. Okay, let's talk about the back of the Evergoods CTB35. Starting with laptop protection. I'll be honest, guys, I've been a little inconsistent about how I feel about side laptop access. I didn't love it when I first discovered it, and then I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And now I'm like, I don't love it again. But not because it doesn't work, it works fine. You can see we got the big old opening here, and then a sleeve right here. Big enough, I believe, for a 16-inch MacBook Pro. You can see our MacBook Pro cutout. It's gonna slide right in. Nice and snug, like a glove. Not gonna get any bigger than that. And then you have this little Velcro securer to keep it safe and in place. And that's actually a nice design choice. It's just one of those things where Evergoods is giving you a light gray interior plus this red Velcro securing mechanism. So if you are like me, and you might accidentally leave this zipper open, at least you have like a visual like alarm. You know, you're grabbing your bag and it's like, holy crap, red. Actually, and if you don't secure it, it'll kind of be like this and it'll be very obvious. That whole design, I think, is actually quite smart. But you still hear horror stories every now and then of people, to no fault of their own, you're in a rush, you know, or your little ADHD brain like me, and you grab your bag and you're trying to catch a train real fast and you forgot to zip it up and laptop falls out. That'll never happen, obviously, if the laptop compartment is a vertical one. We got plenty of padding and protection in this laptop compartment. You can see this spot is very well padded, very secure on both sides with the back panel, and got a bit of a false bottom going on as well, maybe like an inch or so. So it's a very secure tech compartment, no doubt about that. Let's talk about luggage travel, guys. I think this is an ideal one bag travel pack. If that's what you're looking for, like a lot of features and a lot of extra padding and protection, which equals more weight as well. But it's also a good suitcase companion. You can see we have this luggage pass-through right there, which allows you to slide this over the handle of your suitcase. It's not my favorite implementation, but it gets the job done. It's a little loose, so your bag's kind of like drooping a little bit. It's just nice. It's very satisfying when the bag is nice and secure and like salute, like add attention, you know? And this is just a little bit more loose, but the good news is that it's less likely to damage the actual bag. Sometimes when it's too tight, the luggage pass-through holder, it can kind of like cause compromises and maybe pop out the stitching. And also I have to admit though, like I don't love a bag that forces you to put it on its side on a suitcase. I want to wear it, or I want to carry it the right way up, because then it's just easier to access everything. But on the flip side, at least with this bag, we do have 2 compartments that are horizontally accessible. So at least when the bag is on its side like this, you can grab some things. So there is some flow and harmony there. I think the CPL24 works a little bit better like that. But the CTB, you know, it's still a masterpiece in its own way. Except for maybe when it comes to comfort. Now, comfort for Evergoods bags, it's a controversial topic. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Evergoods backpack back digging. And it's just this crazy thing where just some people find Evergoods bags to have a little bit of a curvaceous back panel that then like digs into the lower back, upper buttocks region. And I'll be honest, I never noticed it myself on Evergoods bags until I started getting into their smaller bags, like the CPL 16 and the CTB 20, and then I noticed it more. So I think it depends on just your height and your body size and how you're packing the bag out. Now the good news is if you buy an Evergoods bag and it is a problem for you, there's a plastic sheet in the back panel, which is removable via the laptop compartment. And that has alleviated the back digging pain for some people. But aside from that, Evergoods bags, they're actually usually considered to be pretty comfy. The shoulder straps are dense, but got a little bit of bounce to them as well. You can see we're at around 2.5 inches width, which is fine. You know, 3 might be better for a bag this size, in my opinion. And we've got a depth just over 1 centimeter, which again is right around where you want it to be. And one thing that will help increase your comfort is this included and non-removable hip belt. Hip belts are great like this because they help to redistribute the weight from your back more towards your actual hip. And a really great hip belt, like let's say on an Osprey bag, will literally feel like the entire bag is being carried by your hips. And God, it feels incredible. But it requires a certain design, a very hiking and outdoor-esque aesthetic to kind of achieve this, which Evergoods is not accomplishing here. Having said that, the hip belt works fine. It's one of the better ones that I've reviewed from an urban bag design and perspective. We've got a nice pad size. I could have used a bit more padding, to be honest. But overall, it's a nice thing to have, especially in a bag this size, especially when the bag itself weighs 4.5 pounds. So I like the addition of the hip belt. I don't like the next thing though, which, bring him out. Come on. Don't be afraid, little guy. There he is. This is Dan, AKA No Dangle Dan. And No Dangle Dan is a passionate believer that excess nylon webbing like this, and like this, and this, and this, and this, and this, shouldn't exist on a bag at this price point. Yes, there are simple solutions to fix it yourself. You can buy, DIY web holders on Amazon. Yes, there are some crazy people out there that are okay with the excess dangle. But for me, again, 350 USD and not a single web holder on this bag, which just means that you've got excess nylon here, you've got excess nylon here, you've got excess nylon here, and it irks me. And it irks No Dangle Dan. We're irked together. We don't like to be irked. And Evergoods is just, they've shown no interest in solving this problem. I know it's a long rant for a little thing, but it means a lot to me and to Dan. And if you agree, let us know in the comments below. Finally, the back panel. I don't find Evergoods back panels to be the most breathable. We do have these cuts to inspire a wee bit of ventilation. And Evergoods claims that the actual fabric that they're using on the back panel is very breathable in itself. But having talked to a lot of people who own Evergoods bags, I think it's just kind of marketing. I don't really think it's like as true as they want it to be, or as it's advertised to be. I just know that a lot of back sweaters claim that the Evergoods back panel just kills them. So again, if you're looking for a bag that can really relieve your back and give a lot of cool, glorious, airy ventilation on those hot, sweaty summer days, this might not be the best pick for you. Ooh, and one final thing, you see you have this sleeve right here in the shoulder strap. That is for your hydration bladder. So if you do want to take this bad boy on a hike, on the trail, you can put the, what is it, like camel or platypus? What are those things called? Not a hiker here. Okay, obviously guilty as charged. But you can put it in the laptop compartment, weave the hose on through, comes out right here for your hydration pleasure. Holy crap, that was a lot. Let's start wrapping this review up and talk about the overall pros and cons of the Evergoods Civic Travel Bag 35 liter. Pro number one is just going to be the insane functionality that you're gonna get with a bag like this. Everything. It's just a functional masterpiece minus a few caveats. Pro number two is just all the impressive additional capacity that you get, especially in the smaller pockets of this bag. And pro number three for me is just going to be these epic water bottle pockets. They're just on a different level. But on the flip side, all bags have cons. Here are mine for the CTB. Con number one, some comfort quirks, especially when it comes to potential back digging. Not something that I experience, but it is a common complaint that you will read online. Con number two for me, all the dangle. And con number three for me and a lot of people in this community, this bag is f***ing heavy. But there's a good chance that if you're still watching this review, you're thinking to yourself, heavyweight, don't care. Dangle, don't care. Back digging, pfft. And if that's the case and you're thinking of making a purchase, just a reminder, we do suggest doing so with the first link in the description, just because that link makes sure that you get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's where you'll find them. Okay, now time to take these pros and cons, mash them together, and give you our overall scores. First up, asterisk, is that how it's pronounced? The little star thing. These scores are personal, just based on my experience using this bag. Just gotta throw that out there. First up for comfort, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. This is gonna definitely vary from person to person, but for me, the back digging issue only happened on smaller Evergoods bags. And although this thing is bloody heavy, and I hate that. That aside, the shoulder straps are well padded, really nice depth. The hip belt is going to give you additional comfort and back support, plus the sternum strap. I mean, guys, it's just, to me, it's a comfy bag. Do I wish it was lighter? Yes. Do I wish there was less dangle? Yes. But is it uncomfortable? Hell no. 4 out of 5. Next up, let's talk about value. I'm gonna give this bag a 3 out of 5. Reason being, I don't mind paying more expensive prices for better bags, but I think at $350, you're just, you're a little bit on the upper side. You can get a really good 30 to 40 liter bag, in the $250 range for other brands, maybe like Air or Osprey, even at $100 less than that. Evergoods lifetime warranty is epic. Evergoods construction techniques are just on a different level, but I stick to what I said by market standards. Value is a 3 out of 5. And for the overall score, I'm gonna give this bag a 4 out of 5. It's sort of a functional masterpiece with some quirks and clocking in at a very heavy weight. But yeah, more or less, this bag is pretty freaking amazing. And just a reminder, if you're still watching this, you might agree with that sentiment and you might be thinking about making a purchase. And if that's the case, just to remind you again, we do recommend doing so with the first link in the description, just because that link makes sure that you get the best price. And if we have any discount codes, that's where you can find them. But if you're not 100% sold on the CTB, let's talk alternatives. First up, if you're new to Nomad's Nation and like the bag game in general, You should definitely check out the Nomads Nation leaderboard rankings video. In this video, myself and the Nomads Nation squad, we get together and pick our favorite bags in different bag categories. And it's a great way just to see what the best options are on the market. I've gone ahead and linked that above. Also, if you're new to Nomads Nation, you might find it interesting that after reviewing 300 bags on this channel, I decided to start my own bag brand as well. And that brand is called Firo. And our mission at Firo is to make gear that keeps you streamlined and focused on your journey ahead. And we've been building some epic bags over there. I'm talking, we got slings, we got EDC bags, we have our own travel bag that's significantly lighter than this. We're building our own passionate community over there. Honestly, I'm really proud of what we've done. If you want to learn more, you can do so at firo.co or with the second link in the description. But if we're really close with the CTB35, here's 2 alternatives that might get you a little bit closer. Alternative number 1 is going to be the packed Aero backpack. This is going to be a great pick for you if you're looking for a really high quality, insanely constructed and detailed and feature heavy travel backpack that's 35 liters, but the weight of this guy is kind of a deal breaker. That's where the packed Aero travel backpack shines, as it's got a ton of killer travel features, but as opposed to 4.3 pounds, it's coming in at 2.3 pounds. And my second alternative recommendation is gonna be the Tortuga Travel Backpack Lite. This is a great pick for you again if the Evergoods is just a little bit on the heavier side and also maybe a little bit too on the feature heavy side. You don't need all the quick access and the top zippers. Tortuga's light backpack is significantly more, I'd say, minimalist and streamlined because of that. And I think also more comfortable, as it's one of the more comfortable travel backpacks that I've ever reviewed. Honestly, guys, like, all 3 bags are awesome. You just gotta figure out which one, checks the boxes for your needs. And if you wanna learn more about the 2 alternatives that we just talked about, you can do so by watching these videos here. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Aaron, this is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you guys next time.